she is sorry or made any, which, I mean, honestly, if you're appealing the case, I don't even think you should really go and make any statements like that now. But, that is a difference that Shannon went on the apology tour, which is smart. And Karen has certainly not done that yet. She's appealing the thing. I personally think the biggest difference between the two, for me, I still think the real big difference is that there is no difference and nobody cares. And the network arbitrarily decides if they want you for the show. And then that's the edit and that's the spin. But if you take that out of it, to me, the biggest difference is that John Jansen and Alexis, well, really, Alexis did it, which is so smart. They did all these interviews where John made it very clear. I never threatened to expose Shannon. I never threatened to reveal the video. And so that's the legal, because a lot of people were like, is this blackmail? Is this extortion? Shannon could go after them. They're very smart. I mean, well, I'm sure they're being counseled by legal counsel, but Alexis is the one that brought this on the show. Alexis is the one that said, we have the video and we'll expose it or whatever, blah, 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 blah. John is the one that physically has the video. So you can't say these people, excuse me, you can't say they're in love. You can't say they're engaged. You can't say they sleep together at night. Doesn't matter. One person has it and another person is saying, we'll expose it. Now, how can you sue John, who made it very clear? If you go back and you listen to all his interviews, although he says he hasn't done any except for that Entertainment Tonight. So if you look at that, if you look at the main interview or all the interviews, John makes it very clear. I never said I would expose this. Very smart statement. And Alexis never should have said that and blah, blah, blah. And Alexis says, I said it. I shouldn't have said it. You can't really go after John because he never said it. Can't really go after Alexis because she doesn't even have the damn thing. So it's a technicality, but really smart. But the difference is, whatever this video is, we have not witnessed it. The way the psychological mind works is we can hear about all the things Ramona said. We can read and print all the things that Stassi and Kristen did to Faith. And I know there's but it's different when you watch it with your own very eyes. So I think what puts Bravo, if we are going to get rid of Karen in any type of maybe different situation from Shannon, is that it's we've all seen the video. I think that body cam video, if anything, if we want to get rid of Karen, is the nail in her coffin. I do. I think it just hits differently when you watch it, right? We all know Shannon crashed into the wall. We could all see the wall. We could see the street. We could hear about it. We could see, picture Archie in the back seat in our minds. It's different than if there was footage leaked of the dog barking in the car and the windows roll down and the dog is going crazy inside and she's there talking to an officer and she falls down and she slurs. It just hits differently. Think about it. It really hits differently. Our minds can imagine, but there's still a part of you which can soften it when you don't see it. Seeing is believing. Seeing is did Ariana send out the thing about Raquel and this? I don't know if we saw it happen. It's when you don't see it, we could hypothesize all day. And I think seeing Karen in all of this and talking to the officer, do you know who I am? And then Ray shows up and he tries to help her. And she's saying, I'm Thomas Jefferson's concubine. And do you know who I am? And I'm so rich, I'll spend the rest of my life in jail. And And by the way, saying you're so rich is different than saying, do you know who I am? Saying I'm so rich and I'll have a great defense and I'll hire the best lawyers. I mean, no offense, you should. I mean, I don't understand what money is for other than, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank was on this very podcast and said, you know why I love money? He's like, it's very simple. It's not because of what it buys. It's that it can buy freedom. I agree with that statement. So saying like, I'm so rich and I'll get myself out of this doesn't really work that way when you commit a crime. Look at Diddy, although Diddy, I think, is out now on bail. But the point is, that's way different. There's many, many, many rich people that work for their money and are humble and, live a life. But, it's different when you say, do you know who I am? And, so I just think the whole thing with the swaying and all this other stuff, put together, I think that is the most damning situation for Karen. Like taking whether the production company wanted to keep you or not. I just think that is the difference. Not that it should be a difference because I mean what Shannon did is just as bad, but that's the difference. I think more so than the way they're handling it and Shannon's admitting it and copying to it. Karen still is saying, I'm going to get out of this. We're going to appeal. Do you know who I am? I think all that's something, but I really think the video and watching it with our own eyes, whether you realize this or not subconsciously, is a difference. Also, when I watch Potomac now, I got to be honest with you. As I watch Potomac, I can't see Karen in the same light anymore. I mean, she's the same Karen, but I'm starting to see these scenes with her now. And it's like, this, do you know who I am, is slowly carrying over to the TV for me. Like, I find myself watching without even realizing there are certain situations where I'm like, oh my God, like, what a, like, wow. Listen, when she says, like, you know, Jacqueline is on her property. I don't know if you guys watched, I think this was 2 episodes ago, where Jacqueline shows up with the balloons for her birthday, and they're saying this is a rented house and blah, blah, blah. And Karen's like, and she brings the balloons. She said, I brought you 8 balloons, one for each of your citations. And Karen's like, get off my property. And now Karen is like letting everybody know that she is pressing charges against Jacqueline for trespassing. It's like, oh my, like, and what am I trying to say? Like, I'm watching it and I'm starting to think that, like, what I thought was cute about the Grand Dame is like, I'm like, wow, maybe she is just totally fucking entitled. And like, look, there's a difference between believing the hype and playing a part, right? Like, I guess I always thought that Karen was more in on the joke that she was the Grand Dame, honey, and the Grand Dame shows up when she wants to. And I found it endearing and cute because I do love the Grand Dame. But I'm starting after this video now watching the show for me, I'm starting to be like, wow, Karen's just truly entitled and I can't unsee those videos. And everything I thought was cute before, now I'm like, you really believe that you're above the law? You really believe that Jacqueline should not, that people should kiss the ring? I'm starting to get there with a Grand Dame, and I'm like, ah. So if I'm starting to feel this way, I'm thinking maybe a lot of you are starting to think this way. And then if that is the case, maybe people are turning on her, and then maybe it will be the end for her. I'm not convinced. Look, I hate to say it. I'm not, 32. I love housewives in their 50s and 60s. I truly do. I think that's the whole point of why we started the show. I think it brings something different. It gives a platform to women that, back in the day in Hollywood, the joke was you never work after 40 if you were an actress. I mean, look at Meryl Streep though, honey. Nicole Kidman, honey. But when you compare Karen to Mia and Jazzy and these others, Ashley Darby, she to me is starting to age out. Again, I feel the world is full of ageism. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just saying from oh my God, like you should hear the things I was used to sit in meetings when I was